In the beginning, we established something very important. In episode 1, we said this series is about one question. Who is Jesus? And we started right where the Bible starts. Not with his name, not with the manger, but with the promise. Genesis opens with creation, order, and purpose. Humanity is made in God's image. Relationships exist, peace exists, and then sin enters the story. But what we emphasized last episode is God does not abandon humanity when sin enters. He speaks. And the very first time God speaks after the fall, he does not start with punishment for man. He starts with a promise aimed at the enemy. And that brings us to today. Genesis 3:15. This is the first place in Scripture where the story of Jesus is spoken aloud. Not by prophets, not by angels, but by God himself. This is coming from the ESV. Genesis 3:15 says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Now let's slow all this down because every word here matters. God is speaking to the serpent. He is not talking to Adam. He is not talking to Eve. He is addressing the enemy directly. I will put enmity between you and the woman. The word enmity means hostility, opposition, deep-rooted conflict. God is declaring that there will never be peace between the serpent and humanity. Evil does not get to coexist comfortably with God's image bearers. And notice who initiates this. I will put. This is not humanity rising up. This is God intervening. Even after the fall, grace steps in. God prevents humanity from fully aligning with the serpent. Mercy is already active in judgment. Now the scope widens. And between your offspring and her offspring. This is no longer about a single moment in a garden. It is about two lines, two seeds, two kingdoms unfolding through history. In Scripture, the word offspring or seed is covenant language. It traces promise, inheritance, and purpose. You see it later with Abraham, David, and ultimately with Jesus Christ. The serpent's offspring represent rebellion and deception, anything that is opposite to God. The woman's offspring represents a preserved line through which redemption will come. Then the language sharpens. He shall bruise your head. The text shifts from plural offspring to a singular he. This matters. Hebrew scholars have long noted this move. The conflict narrows to one particular descendant. A head wound is fatal. It ends the fight. God is promising that one day a specific person will decisively defeat the serpent. This is why theologians call Genesis 3:15 the first announcement of the gospel. The message is present before the method is explained. But let's not forget the next line. And you shall bruise his heel. That says the serpent will strike back. The deliverer will suffer. A heel wound is real pain, y'all. It slows you down. It hurts, but it does not end the story. Victory will come through suffering. And this is echoed all throughout Scripture. The suffering servant in Isaiah, the pierced Messiah, the cross before the crown. Early teachers like Irenaeus and Justin Martyr identified this verse as the earliest foreshadowing of the crucifixion. Modern biblical scholarship across traditions agree this verse launches the redemptive storyline of the Bible. Let this land on you. Before humanity is driven from the garden, before death spreads, before nations rise and fall, God promises a Redeemer. Jesus is not God's backup plan. He is revealed early. Genesis 3:15 tells us that the story of Jesus begins in brokenness, not in Bethlehem. In mercy, definitely not in merit. While humanity is still hiding, God is already promising hope. And from here, the scripture keeps narrowing the question. Who is that offspring? Where will he come? How will this promise move forward? And that's where we're going next. In the next episode, we move to Genesis 12:1 through 3, where God speaks to a man named Abram and makes a promise that through one family, all the families of the earth will be blessed. The seed is no longer just promise. It's being traced. And the story of Jesus moves forward.